Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, bringing you InBetweenIsode number 44. So last week I brought on the Xiaguan and an old bear, and so today I am bringing on another Xiaguan, also acquired from the same Taobao order. And so I'll talk a little bit about Taobao. First of all, I've given this 2 rinses plus 1 steep already, so I'm going to give it a couple more steeps, and while we're waiting for that to cool, I will talk about it. So, Taobao is, there are some good things and some bad things about it. You have to really kind of know what you're looking for. You can't sample. That's another big problem with Taobao. And it's basically the Chinese eBay, for those of you that are not familiar with it. And it's more like the Chinese eBay rolled into the Chinese Amazon, and all combined together. So it's huge. It's a huge network. And you have to go through an agent. The agent that I've been using most recently is Taobaoring.com. I don't know if they're the best. I've used them twice already. They've been reliable. They've been pretty good. And so you basically will go into their site. You'll say, hey, I want this, this, and this from Taobao. The items all get shipped to Taobaoring's office. While you pay, I think, an 8% fee plus PayPal fees. And then from there, you get the tea shipped to the U.S., so you have to pay the international shipping at that point. And I found that, that sounds like a lot of steps and a lot of stuff to go through, but I found that you can get the tea for considerably cheaper from China from just about every Western vendor, especially when it comes to things like factory cakes, for like the Xiaguan cakes and Fangcha, for instance. I find that I have a really hard time with the dryer stored factory tea. Even if it's like 10 years old or something like that, it's still often like not possible for me to really enjoy, just because it's not really, I don't know, like you can see that this tea is brewing up a red, and this tea is the Xiaguan 8653. So I find that it really craves sort of like the wetter storage, like Guangdong storage, especially considering like the compression is so dense. So I found that Taobao is also a really effective way to pick and choose a couple vendors that might be based in those southern China areas to buy some of these teas. So this tea is a very humble tea. I wouldn't say it's even a particularly good tea, but it is, from what I found, to be very functional. So this is one of the classic Xiaguan recipes, the 8653, from 2005, so it's got about 10 years of age on it. A lot of it's been in, presumably all of it's been in Guangdong dry storage. And so the vendor that I bought this from is mx-t.taobao.com. They have a ton of factory productions. Most all of it has been Guangdong stored, or something similar. So Guangdong, for those of you not familiar, is one of the areas that's more known for having sort of like a hotter, more humid climate than somewhere like Beijing or Kunming or most places in the West, if you're not living in Florida. But yeah, so this tea costs, I think, about 190 RMB, and to translate that to US dollars, that's a little bit over, well, it's right around $30 actually. And so after you end up paying the fees and stuff, I think I ended up spending about 45 bucks for this tea. And it's clean, it's alright. The storage has definitely been pretty good, but the tea has been like darkened. And I don't think if I had stored this tea in Seattle, for instance, for the past 10 years, that it'd be anywhere near that state. Alright, so this is a lot of talking, not a lot of tea drinking, so cheers, guys. So I would say its base profile is sort of a wood. There's sort of like this interesting tang that hits the mouth right after you start drinking. Yeah, so sort of like warm wood, some fruity tones to it. The aroma, for the most part, is not even particularly smoky. It's more fruity, I would say. One thing that's kind of nice about these really heavy compression cakes, and this is not even the iron cake, is that they do a really good job of retaining the aroma. Some of the more looser ones, I've noticed that the aroma tends to seep away. And I don't drink Pu'erh specifically for the aroma or anything like that. In fact, I would say that's one of the attributes that you would not really look for as much in Pu'erh tea, but it's definitely like a nice thing to have. So I'm getting kind of that weird, tangy off note to it. And other than that, I would say the tea is pretty solid all around. A very functional tea. I would say both of the teas from the previous episode so far have struck me as better than this tea. Alright, so it's rounding into its profile a little bit more. It's got a fuller, rounder taste to it. The body has thickened, getting more of like a fruit sweetness from this. And yeah, I think that's more or less the tea. The tea continues to steep out for a bit. One thing that I would also caution people about when it comes to these Xiaguan productions, I can get on my soapbox for a little bit, is that you can't really expect the 2015 8653 or the 2015 7542 to be even the same thing as what it was 5 or 6 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. These recipes are more dynamic than we would like to believe, and in a lot of ways they've gotten watered down over the years as demand has risen. They've had to kind of get more supply from somewhere, and so usually what that means is you'll get increasingly lower quality supply. Anyways, that's a big topic. I don't know why I touched on it. This tea is decent, and I would definitely recommend Taobao for people, especially that are interested in factory tea. I think it's no secret, but I think a lot of the eBay vendors buy directly from Taobao or some sort of equivalent and then sell the tea to the US, so why pay more? Once you learn to sort of navigate the Taobao system, it's not nearly as bad as you think. There's sort of like a tier to it. You have to use Google Translate. I would also recommend using BabbleCarp to sort of like search and find Chinese characters that are specifically tea related. But especially good for these older Xiaguan productions. The dye stuff is a little bit more heavily faked, so you have to be a little bit more careful and discriminating. But right now, and maybe you guys will all comment and be like, that tea you had was a fake. But right now, I believe that the tea that I am drinking is a legit Xiaguan from 2005. And I have generally had good experiences with both Taobao Ring and the vendor mx-t.taobao. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see next. I have a couple different episode ideas coming up soon, but always happy to hear from you guys, and cheers.